Mr. President, I give notice on next sitting day on Move 1 that this House recognises that Tuesday, 5th of August 2025, marked the first anniversary of the fall of Bangladesh's 17-year authoritarian regime following a mass uprising, which is now known as the Monsoon Revolution. 2, that this House notes that A, many in Bangladesh and across the world have referred to the Monsoon Revolution as Bangladesh's second liberation after its independence from Pakistan in 1971. B, this week, Bangladesh's interim leader, Professor Muhammad Yunus, has unveiled a roadmap of democratic reforms. The nation marks this historic anniversary, pledging to write to the Chief Election Commissioner requesting the national election be arranged in February 2026 before the start of Ramadan. C, in his address, Professor Yunus affirmed that the three core responsibilities of the interim government are reform, justice and the conduct of a national election, asserting that, quote, "We will step into the final and most important phase after delivering this speech to you, and that is the transfer of power to an elected government. On behalf of the government, we will extend all necessary support to ensure that the election is free, peaceful and celebratory in spirit," end quote. D, Professor Yunus also formally read out the July Declaration, a 28-point document that seeks to give constitutional recognition to the student-led uprising, and confirmed that trials for those responsible for the July killings of 2024 are progressing swiftly. E, democracy cannot be rebuilt on compromised foundations, and it is critical that the interim government's electoral roadmap is accompanied by urgent action to carry out widespread reform across Bangladesh's systems. F, since 5th of August 2024, the transitional period has exposed deep structural and institutional failures. While the interim administration, led by Professor Yunus, has expressed reformist intentions, many of the institutions that enabled authoritarian control remain untouched. G, the Rapid Action Battalion, the RAB, continues operating with impunity despite decades of allegations involving extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances. And H, Bangladesh's judiciary remains politicised, the law enforcement lacks accountability, and victims of violence and their families have expressed fear of their prospects for seeking justice. 3, that this House reaffirms its commitment to democracy and human rights and expresses solidarity with the people of Bangladesh in their pursuit of justice, national sovereignty, political stability and lasting peace. And 4, that this House calls on the Australian Government to A, advocate for justice and accountability for the victims of the Monsoon Revolution and their affected communities, B, stand in solidarity with the people of Bangladesh in calling on the interim government to ensure the recently announced electoral roadmap includes 1, free, fair and internationally monitored elections, 2, the creation of an independent election commission with robust anti-fraud mechanisms, and 3, equal access to political participation for all parties. C, advocate for the disbanding of the Rapid Action Battalion, prosecution of those involved in human rights violations and establishment of a restructured and rights-respecting law enforcement system. D, support judicial reform in Bangladesh that aligns with international human rights obligations and norms. And E, encourage systemic anti-corruption measures, including transparent, long-term institutional reform to rebuild public trust in governance.
Thank you.